Everybody's telling you to eat more fiber, but nobody's telling you this. If you do it the wrong way, more fiber can leave you more bloated, more gassy, and more miserable than when you started. There's a right way to feed your gut, and almost everyone gets it backwards. Here's what's really happening. Your gut is home to trillions of microorganisms that help break down certain foods and produce compounds that can influence digestion and immune activity. Certain types of fiber feed gut microbes, which can produce short-chain fatty acids and other compounds that support intestinal and metabolic health. But when you dump a mountain of fiber on a gut that isn't ready for it, those same microbes go into overdrive and you feel it: bloating, cramping, gas that could clear a room. If that's been you, you're not broken, you just skipped a step, and today we fix it. Before we go further, understand this: your body was not an accident, it was made with intention. In Genesis 1:29, the Creator of all things said, "See, I have given you every herb bearing seed, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food." From the very beginning, the plants were designed to nourish and to heal. So when your gut struggles, it is not a design flaw, it is an invitation to come back to the way you were built to eat, slowly, gently, and with the living foods the Creator of all things provided. I didn't arrive at that from a textbook. I was raised on the Bible's teaching about health from the time I was young, but it was my own walk, my own spiritual journey, that took me from vegetarian to fully plant-based and eventually into this work, helping others choose the Genesis 1:29 way of eating and healing for themselves. That's where the name RemedRoot comes from. I'm not interested in covering up a symptom. I care about finding the root of the problem and reaching for what was already provided before reaching for something synthetic. That is what RemedRoot is about. Not fighting your body, partnering with the wisdom already written into it. Now, with that foundation, let's fix the mistake. Let's start with the mistake. Somebody hears fiber is good for you, so overnight they go from almost none to 50 grams a day, smoothies packed with greens, beans at every meal, fiber powder in their water. It sounds healthy, but your gut microbes are like a muscle. You can't go from lifting nothing to lifting the heaviest weight in the gym on day one. You have to build up. And the research backs this up. Studies on the gut microbiome show that when you suddenly flood your system with fermentable fiber, your bacteria ferment it fast, producing gas as a byproduct. That's the bloating. It's not that fiber is bad. It's that you gave your gut more than it was trained to handle. I've walked people through this exact ramp-up more times than I can count, and the story is always the same. They didn't do anything wrong on purpose. They just went too far too fast. So the goal isn't just more fiber. The goal is the right fiber, at the right pace. Keep that in mind, because in a minute I'm going to show you the two types of fiber, and why mixing them up is where most people go wrong. Here's what almost nobody explains. There are two kinds of fiber, and they do completely different jobs. The first is soluble fiber. It dissolves in water and turns into a soft gel. This is the gentler one for many people, and it is fermented by your gut microbes. You find it in oats, chia seeds, and apples. Some plant mucilages, such as slippery elm, one of the roots the Creator of all things designed for healing, may also provide a soothing texture, though responses vary. The second is insoluble fiber. This one doesn't dissolve. It's the broom. It sweeps everything through and keeps you regular. You find it in leafy greens, wheat bran, and the skins of vegetables. Here's what most people miss. Studies on digestion show that soluble fiber is generally far gentler on a sensitive gut, while a sudden overload of rough insoluble fiber is what triggers cramping and bloating in people who aren't used to it. So if your gut is sensitive, you don't start with the broom. You start with the gel. Start soft, then build. Remember that. It's the whole key. Sound familiar? That queasy, bloated feeling after you tried to eat healthy? It isn't a mystery anymore. You just started with the wrong tool. Now let's fix that. So how do you actually do it without wrecking your stomach? Step 1. Go slow. Add just 3 to 5 grams of new fiber at a time, and give your gut 3 to 4 days to adjust before adding more. Your gut microbes can adapt to changes in the fibers available to them, but that adjustment takes time and varies from person to person. Step 2. Drink more water. Some fiber absorbs water, so increasing it without adequate fluids may worsen constipation for some people. Every time you add fiber, add water. Step 3. Lead with soluble fiber first. Oats, chia, slippery elm. If your gut is sensitive, many people tolerate a gradual increase in gel-forming or soluble fiber better than a sudden increase in coarse fiber. The proof is in how the gut adapts. Some people experience less bloating as they increase fiber gradually, while others may need to identify specific triggers, rush it, and you may stay stuck in the misery loop. Slow, water, soluble first. That's the pattern that changes everything. Now let's talk about what happens when you get this right. Some people notice improved regularity or less bloating as they gradually increase fiber, while others may need to identify specific triggers or seek medical guidance. The bathroom becomes boring in the best way. Energy climbs because a calm gut isn't stealing your body's resources fighting inflammation. That's the proof you can feel. Not a study on a screen, but your own belly finally at peace. My own gut hasn't always been easy. I've had my share of stomach trouble over the years too. But learning to slow down and work with my body instead of against it is what turned things around. And the pattern holds true whether it's my story or yours. Slow down, follow the order, and within days the bloating eases and the energy comes back. And if you want the exact day-by-day map for this, which roots to use, how much, and in what order, that's exactly what we built inside the Root Cause Reset, our 7-day gut healing protocol. It walks you through the whole ramp-up, gently, one day at a time. It's over at RemedRoot.com. But stay with me, because there's a second mistake, and this one can quietly undo everything you just fixed. Most people have no idea they're making it. Here's the mistake that undoes everyone's hard work. You can feed your microbes all the fiber in the world, but if your gut lacks diversity, you may be feeding a garden that needs more diversity and balance. Think of fiber as fertilizer for your inner garden. It feeds the microbes already living in your gut, but a garden also needs new life. That's where fermented foods come in. Plant-based fermented foods may provide live cultures and fermentation compounds that support the gut environment. Here's how it works. Some plant foods can be fermented through the action of beneficial microorganisms. Cabbage fermented into sauerkraut. Soybeans fermented into tempeh or miso. And here's the proof. In a small 10-week Stanford clinical trial published in the journal Cell, healthy adults who increased their intake of fermented foods showed greater gut microbiome diversity and lower levels of several inflammatory proteins. Plant-based ferments such as sauerkraut, kimchi, and kombucha can fit within this broader fermented food approach, though those exact plant-based examples should not be taken as the specific foods tested in the trial. Fermentation shows up in surprising places too. Cacao seeds can be fermented after harvest. Natural yeasts and bacteria transform the sugary pulp around the seeds, creating the flavor compounds that later become chocolate. So fermented foods may introduce new microbial activity, and the fiber is what feeds the microbes already there. That's why you want both. So think of it as a team. Together they offer two different pathways. Fiber feeds microbes already present, while some fermented foods may provide live cultures and fermentation compounds. Feed the garden and invite new life in. So let's bring it home. The fiber mistake almost everyone makes isn't eating fiber, it's doing too much, too fast, with the wrong kind, and forgetting the microbes themselves. Do it the RemedRoot way instead. Start slow, drink your water. Lead with the gentle soluble fibers and roots, the creator of all things designed for healing, and add plant-based fermented foods for live cultures. Do that, and your gut stops being your enemy and becomes your foundation. Your gut doesn't heal on some day, it heals on the next meal you eat. If you're sitting on the fence, here's what I'd tell you face to face. If you truly want to heal and live the way you were made to live, take your health seriously. Look into the natural ways to heal. There is so much benefit in the foods and herbs the earth already provides, supporting your body's own process of clearing out what shouldn't be there in the first place. We came from the ground. That's where our healing was always meant to come from. And the creator of all things is the ultimate source of life itself. So make today the day you start it right. If you're ready to stop guessing and follow a simple day-by-day plan, the Root Cause Reset, our 7-day gut healing protocol, lays it all out for you at RemedRoot.com. Subscribe to RemedRoot for more truth like this every week. And remember, heal from the root, not the symptom.